9 March 21. This is Douglas Bickford. Why am I always crying? Or why do I never cry? These are two questions may seem to be opposite of each other, but like many opposites, they result from the same cause. Too much crying or inability to cry at all means that there is a lack of trust in ourselves and that we are trying to control our feelings. We have been trained not to trust ourselves, our feelings, and we have also been taught that we have to control these feelings. We grow up believing that giving in to our feelings is wrong and that we are weak if we do so. We cry too much when we do not trust that we can take care of ourselves. We never cry at all when we are afraid of our tears. Both reflect the fear that we cannot control ourselves. So either way, folks, if you never cry, it's a problem. If you cry all the time, it's a problem. There's got to be a happy medium. My wife that I left, her dad, she'd never cry. She was too tough. She always said that she didn't fear anything. She always and her mom was the same way. They don't fear anything, That's what they say. I mean, her mom would brag about how she carried a 308 and all this stuff, right? And then her daughter would say, "Oh, I'm not afraid of dying. I'm not afraid of anybody coming and killing me. I'm going to protect my property. My daddy taught me that don't ever let anybody take your guns," right? She's big tough. And her brother was the same way. He lived there on her property. And this is what I was in the middle of, okay? And I had to get out of that relationship so I could be right where I'm at right now, talking to you on YouTube about low self-esteem, because I got in it because my self-esteem, I had no self-worth. It's all changing for me, okay? Because I actually found this book accidentally in a box at my daughter or my son's house, who was also in an abusive relationship because of his low self-esteem. And anyway, when we are crying all the time, we have probably lost sight of why we are crying at all. We have given up and feel hopeless and lost. We become afraid that we are stuck in the sadness of life. When we never cry at all, we are also afraid of being out of control and being helpless. The price for our over control is not to feel, and not to feel is not to be fully alive. Both crying all the time and never crying at all are not real. Tears when we're sad or moved or very happy are natural as blowing your noses when we have a cold. By natural processes, our colds will pass. So will our tears if we not allow the natural process to work. The person who is stoic and the person who cries all the time are both stuck. They no longer believe in the natural process. They both are overusing and overgeneralizing one response, one defense, and one way of being to all situations. They are working very hard to avoid the reality of living. In the short term, both reactions may work. Other people may rush in to take care of the crier and they may praise the Stoic for his control. After a short while, however, both of these responses become tiresome. The crier may be told to pull himself together, and the Stoic may find that no one can relate to him what to do. Stop hating the tears, either the abundance or the lack of them. Give yourself permission to cry, or permission not to cry. Accept that you have been trained by a faulty model, but do not blame the model. Try not to blame yourself. By giving yourself permission to do something you are already doing, you begin the process of acceptance. And an interesting phenomenon usually occurs. The opposite begins to happen. If you give yourself permission to cry when you are crying, you begin to feel more in control of yourself. You are allowing yourself to cry and no longer feel guilty about your behavior. The same holds true when you give yourself permission not to cry. After you have given yourself permission to do what you're already doing, give yourself permission to do the opposite. Tell yourself, I will not stop crying when I need to stop. I will stop crying when I need to stop. Or, I will cry when I need to cry. This may sound crazy and much too simplistic, but it often works. You may become stuck with a behavior when you hate yourself for that behavior. You may also get stuck when you are afraid of the behavior. Separate the feeling from the behavior. Let the feeling be the focus on the behavior. Crying is a behavior. Tears are a natural response to your feelings, and as a part of our natural process, they will abate. Crying too much, or not crying at all, mean you have interfered with the natural process. Trust yourself, trust the process. Acknowledge the feeling that is generating the tears. Allow yourself to feel and to respond with tears. Take care of yourself and trust that your tears will stop. Tears do not mean weakness, they mean that you are human. Another great chapter, folks. Allow yourself to cry. Stop crying, okay? And accept it the way you are. If you cry all the time, accept it. And get the book, folks, The Portable Therapist. Watch and share my videos, please. We are all worthy of love. When you wake up in the morning, go tell yourself in the mirror, I love you, whatever your name is. I love you, Douglas Bickford. That's what I say. I love you, my inner child. And you got to tell your inner child that you love your inner child too. Because your inner child is your emotions. Your inner child is where all the bad that happened to you is stored. Right down inside here. And you gotta work with both of them, both those aspects. Your emotions and you, okay? But you can start the process by looking yourself in the mirror, telling yourself you love you, I love you. Literally, you'll feel strange at first, but you got to practice it. You got to do it over and over again. And eventually, you will look at yourself in the mirror and you will believe it. Compliment yourself on stuff you do that you're good at. I mean, no matter what it is. If you're a good house cleaner, compliment yourself. Whatever you're good at. And you'll see that it works. Give yourself exactly what you would give a loved one. Okay, that's the bottom line. I'll have more later for you. All have a great day out there.